This is episode 99 of the Corner House Chronicles. We've made it this far, folks. Both of us, you the listener, and Aaron. We can't forget about Aaron.
We did it as a team.
I'm John.
I'm Jason.
Welcome in. This is going to be fun. We got some pretty decent beer that we're drinking.
I haven't tried it.
You haven't even opened yours yet?
Yeah. I have something that's been bothering me.
Okay.
That I would like to lead off with.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had something else, but no, we're good.
Sorry.
We do have a couple Florida man stories, and we have to talk about the hurricane.
Have to.
And the people that have been victims of the hurricane. So put your seatbelts on, folks. It's going to be a good one.
It's Corner House Chronicles Day.
Take it away, sir.
All right. So, much like the 2-year window that we've discussed,
Okay.
there are things in life that just seem weird when it keeps happening.
Odd.
Yeah.
More than a coincidence, maybe?
So, a time or two in your life, you've had to have something come up in a conversation. Say, in this scenario, it's a movie, but it could be anything.
All right.
Like, let's see, probably around 4 or 5 days ago, a coworker of mine randomly asked, "Hey, isn't the ending to American Psycho kind of weird?" And I was like, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember the whole movie being weird.
Refresh my memory. American Psycho, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is like the Wall Street type guy.
Okay.
Killed all the prostitutes
Yep.
and shit.
There's a couple other big names in that movie, too,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Again, I haven't seen it
It's
since
been a
it came
long
out.
time, yeah. I couldn't even tell you if I sat through the whole thing, but I do know what movie you're talking about. Okay.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
It's creepy because he had a weird fixation on sports by Huey Lewis in the News.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that. I might have to watch this movie again. I'm a big Huey Lewis fan, so.
When he's about to kill one guy in his apartment, he has like plastic he's setting up everywhere while the guy's sitting on the couch, and he's telling him he has sports playing. He's like, it's the height of musical achievement, and blah, blah. He's going on and on about it. He's putting on a rain slicker, grabbing an axe, about to fuck this guy's world up, and just enthusiastically talking about that album. Anyway.
It's kind of twisted. I like it.
It's a twisted movie. So I was like, I don't really remember the ending that much. Haven't watched it in quite a while. So like the following day, I turn on Netflix, pops up in recommendations. Or it's like popular right now on Netflix. It's like
Okay.
the third one on there. I was like, that's kind of weird. A couple days later, somebody else at work starts talking about American Psycho. I'm like, okay, it's kind of neat.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, and it keeps popping up all over the place. Like today, it was not the Freaky Facts page, but there's another one called Effed Up Facts.
Uh-huh.
And there was a little blurb about Christian Bale's character and how he came up with that character. So I'm going to share this with you. Because one, I think when things like this happen, it's like kind of guiding you towards it. So I'm going to eventually break down and watch the movie again.
Right. Yeah, well, makes sense.
But it led to some interesting things I didn't know about.
Okay.
So a while ago, Christian Bale did an interview where he was talking about American Psycho and how he developed the character. Quote, "We talked about how Martian-like Patrick Bateman was. How he was looking at the world like somebody from another planet, watching what people did and trying to work out the right way to behave in the situation. And then one day," this is, I guess, the producer talking about Christian Bale. He's like, he called me. He said he had been watching Tom Cruise on David Letterman. And he just had this very intense friendliness with nothing behind his eyes. And he was really taken with that energy. Have you ever seen that interview?
Yes, I have.
Where he's like, yeah, let's do it. Just laughing like
It's
hysterically.
that crazy laugh that they put in the meme.
Yeah.
That one, and then the Oprah interview he did. That was the other one that was
That was a classic.
TV history.
And then going back and then seeing pictures of Christian Bale from the movie.
Right.
You're like, yeah, he's definitely trying to be Tom Cruise. And then it just makes it like another level of creepiness to that movie. Because then you start thinking about how fucking weird Tom Cruise is. Even like Scientology taken out of the equation. Like I think he didn't even start high school. He quit like junior high or like freshman year of high school. I'm not sure. Tom
Cruise, really?
Yeah, to pursue acting. And granted, the dude's been famous since the 80s.
Right.
He's just a weird fucking guy.
Oh, he's weird as hell.
Yeah. But then you add Scientology to it, and you're just
that's just over the top.
yeah, that's the second level of that cake.
Nonsense.
But digging through, trying to figure out, like, all right, what other weird shit has Tom Cruise done? And it brought me to another article from MovieWeb. And this one was from July 31st, 2018. And the title alone caught me.
Okay.
Tom Cruise didn't know about internet porn until Seth Rogen told him.
Oh, that's got to be a lie.
You would think,
That
but then
has
it's
to be a
about Tom
lie.
Cruise. I mean, he's been famous since the 80s. So realistically, has he had a woman problem?
No.
No.
He probably doesn't go on the internet for
Probably
himself
not.
either,
He's too
right?
busy accepting medals for Scientology, saving the planet, galaxy, whatever the fuck.
I wonder, could you imagine what it's like to live a day
In the life of Tom Cruise,
not even as him, just like a
Around
fly in
him?
the wall,
being his assistant.
or like have him wear a GoPro and he doesn't know it, like a hidden camera somewhere or something. You just
He would just have to get the Scientology files. We'll find out. They do that shit for him.
oh, that's so funny. Okay, wait, we got to go back. Can I go
Okay.
back real quick?
Fucking jump back. Let's
Okay.
do it.
So you said Christian Bale, the character.
Pattern his character.
No. The character was almost alien-like, whereas he looked at the world through a different set of eyes, trying to see where he would fit in.
Yes.
And
And
then
how to behave in the certain situations.
He
and
bases the character around Tom Cruise,
because that's how he fucking acts.
who some people may or may not suspect Tom Cruise of being from a different world, politely put. Okay, can I step out on a limb here?
Let's jump.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Let's say, for hypothetical argument's sake, he was an alien.
Okay.
Maybe he's one of those aliens that doesn't want to go back in the ocean because the other aliens are like, we're just going to take you prisoner. You don't deserve to be one of us, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
that's why he doesn't do
He
water
gets bullied
movies.
down there.
Right?
That's happy.
He's never done a water movie.
No.
Has he?
I don't really
I mean,
believe
Top
so.
Gun, he flew over the water, but he never ended up in it.
No. I don't think he's ever done
And that
like-
was before Scientology.
I think so.
I think it would almost have to been.
I don't know
because
what year he jumped into that circus tent.
he would have been still early in the
Yeah.
process if it was back then. But so now all the other aliens are like, trying to get Tom Cruise.
But only if he goes in the water.
That's where he's vulnerable. Out
Okay.
here, he's got this force field around him called
So-
Hollywood.
So hear me out on this one. Movie idea. So it's kind of like They Live in a sense,
All right.
but you have the aliens, say, underwater, and they constantly send out scouts trying to capture Tom Cruise. For whatever reason, say he was like a traitor to them, or
Almost like Queen of the Damned.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, no?
No.
It's the vampires calling out all the other vampires like, I dare you. Come try me.
Oh, okay.
Come out of the darkness. Come find me. So it'd be like Tom Cruise being like, come on, aliens, I'm out here on land. Come get me.
Okay.
I'm not coming in the water,
So they send out these scouts, right? And maybe Scientology was, well, you know what it's based about, but maybe there's like a secret agenda to where they're there to protect Tom Cruise because they honestly believe he's going to be the savior of the human race.
So I like it.
You have all these scouts trying to get to Tom Cruise, and then you have the whole Scientology collective
That's
shut
as
down
his force field.
as his force field. Right? And then it slowly escalates and escalates until it becomes the action movie that Tom Cruise always does.
And then you could have the aliens, let's say the lost city of Atlantis.
All right.
That's there, and it rises up out of the ocean directly across the bay or wherever from Scientology's headquarters. I don't know where it is.
Why wouldn't-
L.A. or wherever the fuck it is.
What? Scientology?
Yeah, their
LA.
headquarters. Yeah.
One of them. Well,
So it'd be like
think
off,
the main one is in L.A. I don't know if it's in another state or they have a ton of different like outposts, if you will.
Right, but there's got to be a main hub.
Yeah,
There has
we'll say
to
it's the one in L.A.
be. Okay.
So instead of the lost city of Atlantis, why don't we just have it be like ships, kind of like they're destroyers that rise up out
Okay.
of making small islands / battle fortress things.
And that's why we can't go to the very bottom of the ocean because their ships are like radiating some kind of fucking.
Or we have an agreement,
Oh, well. Okay.
an unspoken.
That's a different level of
That
the
is,
movie.
but I
That's
mean-
the sequel. How are them aliens allowed to be there for so long? That's part 2.
You like Velcro microwave ovens?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. I brokered that deal.
Those phones. Don't get me started on that shit. That's not bad.
Well, we've had better ideas, but
No, I mean the whole subject.
the whole subject's
Yeah,
fucking weird
yeah.
as shit.
A lot of things revolve around Tom Cruise, and none of them are normal
No.
by normal sake, you know.
Oh, speaking of him and not going in the water, did you ever see the clip? He was at, forget what award show it was.
He can't like deep water. He's such a tiny guy, right?
He's a short dude.
Okay. No, I don't know.
But somebody walked up with a microphone trying to do an interview, and he said, "Hey, how's it going?" And it was a gag microphone that squirted water on him, and he just got he went from
he flipped out, right?
Oh,
0
yeah.
to intense real quick.
So he had to be pulled away by his assistants. What if there's some basis to this?
Like he's like half gremlin, or not gremlin.
Where he multiplies.
He's like half mogwai, where he can't get wet because he'll multiply and he knows it. Oh, how does he bathe?
I don't know the inner workings of that man's life.
Well, no, I can't imagine too many people do.
I would assume he bathes normally without,
He just like reproduces a bunch of little Tom Cruises and he just like waffle stomps them down the drain.
Oh. Oh. That's creepy. But then it makes you think about the other popular Scientologists out there.
Yeah, there's a few, man.
Like, what's it, John Travolta?
He's one of the higher ups for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's at a level where, and this has been said by people, and I don't know how true it is, but knowing Scientology's levels of, following people and getting information and espionage type shit, they said at his level, he could kill somebody, and the people from Scientology would come, take the body, get rid of all evidence, and just pretty much like it never happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a theory about John Travolta and Scientology.
Yeah.
I think John Travolta is trying so hard to get to Tom Cruise's level because he's a more popular actor outside of Scientology in their realm of Hollywood. Like, if you compare Tom Cruise and Travolta, who's got more #1 movies?
I would say Tom Cruise, sadly.
Really? You think
Nowadays,
so?
yeah.
#1 movies?
With all the
Like,
Mission Impossibles.
over the course, yeah, but
Over the span of time. It depends on what time period
their whole career.
their whole
Just
career.
go their
I would
whole
say Tom
career.
Cruise has more box office hits.
Then Travolta,
Yeah.
Face Off,
Face
Pulp
Off,
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Brought him back because he was a nobody at that point.
Dude, he did that fucking movie way back in the 80s, that Saturday Night Fever, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Urban Cowboy. I
Urban
mean, he's done a
Cowboy.
lot. I'm not diminishing the
what was
man's
that
career.
one? Michael or Phenomenon or whatever that movie
Phenomenon.
was. Is that what it
Yeah.
was? Where he was like a weird character.
Yeah. And then he played another. And Mike, there was 2 different movies. One he played an Angel Michael, and then
That's
Phenomenon.
the one. That's
he got
the one I'm thinking of.
I guess something wrong with his brain. If there was a tumor or some shit, and then he got super smart really quick.
We might have to do a little homework and see who's had more #1.
I'd put money.
Not even #1.
I would say who brought in more box office money. I would say that would be a reasonable way to gauge it.
We could do that or do awards, but I don't like
I
awards
don't like
anyways
awards
personally,
anyway,
so
yeah.
I don't like to count them. So yeah, we could go by
Who has the bigger box office?
who has the bigger box office, Travolta or Cruise? Because I have to believe that it's Travolta for my theory, right?
For this
So-
to work properly.
So Travolta is bigger in Hollywood, and he's jealous of Tom Cruise's status in Scientology.
Okay.
So he tries to buy his way up to the same level. But because Cruise was there first, he's always going to have the better seat at the table, right? The more information.
I don't know
guess.
if Travolta at this point can even take that step without Travolta or without Cruise dying, because they have pretty much awarded him the #3 spot, Tom
Right.
Cruise, because
Right.
it was like the guy L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who started it,
And then
then the guy who's
Miscavige, I think it was his
Whatever
name,
his
David
name-
Miscavige.
yeah,
His wife wanted out, and she vanished. She was
Presley.
like best friends with that
And-
Leah Remini chick.
Yeah, and his dad, his dad did get out.
Yep.
But he's still being followed and all that.
He was
fun
on
shit.
Rogan's podcast, I think. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
But I think the #3 spot is Tom Cruise as like their next, I don't know how to say savior, but he's like their hero, if you will.
Now, is L. Ron Hubbard still alive?
No, he died.
Okay, so technically,
But they do, I think, believe in reincarnation, so they're going to say he comes back as someone else, and they think it's this Muscovich or Miscavige, whatever.
right? So that would put Tom Cruise #2
Number 2
officially,
technically, but
but
yeah.
yes, okay. So imagine just the jealousy inside of John Travolta, knowing that he'll never be number one unless Tom Cruise isn't here anymore. Again, this is just a fan theory.
Strictly.
All speculation and trademarked.
All right, let's see. So, based on credits in the role of leading actor in 37 films, Tom Cruise has 444 million.
Just say 8.5 billion.
We'll say
it'd be so much easier
all
for
right,
you.
8.5 billion in worldwide.
But that was
aggregate
leading
box
roles.
office. He's ranked number 2.
That's leading roles.
As
John
leading
Travolta
role.
probably hasn't had as many leading roles because Tom Cruise doesn't do supporting actor. He's always the leading role in the movie.
Okay, so do you want to do, or we have leading, supporting, lead ensemble, cameo, narrator.
See, lead ensemble could be dangerous because Pulp Fiction would be a lead ensemble because there was a lot of big names in
True.
it.
Supporting, Tom Cruise only has 4.
Right.
So,
What are
which is
those?
still-
Does it tell you?
no, but
just
I
out of
would have to go
curiosity.
to IMDb.
Okay.
And,
All right, don't do that.
All right, so let's look up.
So Tom Cruise had 37 lead, 4 supporting, and 8.5 billion in box office.
4 lead,
For lead. Okay.
which is nothing to look down on. I mean,
No,
if he's ranked
no,
number
hell
2
no.
for that,
Right.
for lead actor.
Did it say who was one?
No, but I can
Okay,
probably find
all right.
out here in a second.
Well, I don't want to put too much on.
Oh, it's close.
Really?
For lead actor. All right. So, for 49 films as lead actor, John Travolta has a total of $3.9 billion
So he's got more lead roles and less money.
worldwide. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he has. If you want to go by supporting, Travolta has 5 supporting.
Okay.
Let's see. So for supporting, it is 211 million box office. That's domestic.
He's only got 3-point-something billion as a lead to Tom Cruise's 8.5. Wow. Was it the Mission Impossibles? Is that what put him over? You
Maybe.
think? I mean,
Probably.
that was a big time for movies too. So yeah, that makes sense. And two, like you have to take into account movie tickets, the price of admission, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Saturday Night Fever came out and Urban Cowboy came out, it was probably like 30 cents to buy a ticket to go to the movies or something.
I
Like
don't think
a
it was
fucking
that
quarter.
cheap.
In the late 70s,
I mean, I couldn't tell you honestly, but
you know,
before my time.
fucking the late 90s, a gallon of gas was $1. You know,
That's true.
so you take back 20 years, 25 years.
It could
I
have been
don't know.
extremely cheap. But
It could have been. Maybe not that cheap. We'll say $1. Let's be nice. So, I mean, he would have had to fill, 100 million in the seats to put a dent in that kind of number.
True.
8.5
And if you gotta
billion.
think-
That's fucking ridiculous.
isn't it?
Holy
worldwide.
shit. I just thought of a Tom Cruise supporting actor role. I've been trying to think, right? What would he be a supporting actor?
Taps.
Tropic Thunder. He was
I think
at,
that's more of a cameo.
well, it's Tom Cruise, though. You give him a
Les
supporting
Grossman.
actor credit to
Maybe.
get him on,
I don't know.
on the film,
That was funny as shit.
Yeah, he
And it
was.
took a while to figure out that was Tom Cruise. But once you knew it was Tom Cruise, you were like, I can't unsee that now.
Right.
That is Tom Cruise.
What the fuck?
If you ever listen to watch that movie with the commentary,
Mm-hmm.
fucking Ben Stiller's like, yeah, it was all his idea. I just asked him if he wanted to come on the movie. He's like, yeah, but my character, he has to have giant hands. He has to be extremely hairy, but going bald. Ben Stiller's like, yeah, dude, just come on down. We'll figure it out.
Tom Cruise in an Edgar suit. That's fascinating that he has that much more money than John Travolta. I would have never guessed that.
No.
At all. At all.
Let me see if I can figure out who the number 1 spot goes to.
It's got to be
Who would you guess? Who would you say is number?
The Rock.
That isn't a bad guess.
It's probably not, but Brad Pitt, maybe? No. DiCaprio? He made a lot of fucking money on
He has.
Titanic.
And he's done other big movies too.
Right. Big movies. Maybe Johnny Depp. Those Pirates movies were fucking killers. And he's done a lot of Tim Burton shit too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Who
All
would-
in all,
Who would you say? I think The Rock might be.
that was my initial guess, right? But
Yeah.
I'm thinking now maybe Johnny Depp.
Oh no shit.
Oh, uh-oh.
Okay.
Who is it?
Yeah, so has Tom Cruise at number 9.
Okay.
And above him, you got Anthony Daniels. He played C-3PO in the Star Wars movies. Above him, we have Andy Serkis, which
Yep. Okay.
he should be making more. He's going to be directing the new Venom movie.
Yep.
Then Scarlett Johansson, and Morgan Freeman, Tom Hanks, Robert Downey Jr., Harrison Ford, and then at number 1, Samuel L. Jackson.
That motherfucker. He's had a lot of fucking movies. Yeah, I mean, you know what, too? He might have like a shark for an agent. You want Sam Jackson in your movie for 10 minutes?
Check this out.
$6 million.
Here's our going rates.
That's outstanding. Travolta, nowhere near the top.
Nowhere. Poor guy.
That proves nothing.
You're making those numbers up.
Mm-hmm. Well, all in all, I'll say, based on the last, however many minutes this conversation lasted there,
For a while. This has been going on for a minute.
I believe Tom Cruise is odd.
Yeah. I'll agree there.
Definitely, he definitely has an interesting life, man. I don't know.
Interesting is a very,
Generalized way of looking at it.
yeah, a very polite word to use.
You know what's weird, too? It would be kind of cool if, like, let's say you had the ability to find out information like that, right? Like a day in the life of Tom Cruise.
All right.
Something he would not want anybody in the public to know, right?
Okay.
Only his most trusted, closest associates, something that they might not even know. And you found out, you had the ability to, fly on the wall or invisible man or something, and you found that information out. Would you want to know?
Probably not.
No.
No, because what are you going to do with that information after the fact?
Yeah,
You could tell people, but are they going to believe you of how you found that information out?
No,
No,
and he's
fuck
going to put
no.
the kibosh on it real
Yeah.
fucking quick. He's going to sick the hounds. The Scientology hounds will be knocking at your door. It would almost be like you were Spider-Man, but you're Peter Parker turning in the photos. Like, I got these fucking killer pics of Tom Cruise doing this, that, and the other thing, and everybody's like, come on.
Yeah, right.
These are clearly photoshopped
right.
in your mom's basement. Knock it off, Larry.
Is that the last time when the aliens took you, Larry?
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be some shit, right? If you got abducted and
They gave you all this information.
you wind up on the ship and you wake up, you open your eyes and look to the left and it's fucking Tom Cruise is sitting there and you're like, holy shit, bro. You were in Top Gun. Born on the 4th of July. Bro, cocktail, make us a drink. And he starts talking in Klingon or some crazy shit, right? Little demon Tom Cruises pop up on his shoulders. Goodness. That could be crazy.
It would be weird. Not going to lie.
Again, trademark.
Trademark. But then it jumps kind of into the no one's ever going to believe you realm very quickly.
Oh, hell no.
But like
They're never going to believe you.
No. Like the stories about Bill Murray doing random shit.
Right.
Like, no one's ever going to believe you.
No.
I heard, or someone posted it on Reddit of like, shit that's happened in your life that no one believes. And it was a guy who was like, he went to this fancy restaurant for his brother's birthday. And he seen this guy. I forget what country they said they were in. But he seen this guy over at a table. And he was like, hey, that guy looks like Harry Potter. And his brother's like, yeah, that's Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who played Harry Potter. He's like, oh. He's like, a couple minutes later, I had to get up and go use the bathroom. So I'm standing at a urinal. Daniel Radcliffe comes in, stands right next to him. He's like, starts peeing. Out of nowhere, he goes, nice wand. Finishes up, washes his hands, walks out. He's like, I come back and I tell my brother, and he's like, that sounds weird. He's like, yeah, but he's right there, and you've seen him just come back from the bathroom. He's like, yeah, but I wasn't in the bathroom.
Right.
It's like,
You probably said that to him.
I can confirm that you two were in the bathroom at the same time, probably.
Right.
But I cannot confirm that he told you, nice wand. He's like, and he probably, if he did say it, he said it because no one would ever fucking believe the guy. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe said, nice wand when we were
Right.
pissing together. And you're like, okay, he sure did.
Yeah, take that story to TMZ, buddy.
Thanks, Larry.
Do you think that's why Bill Murray does the things he does? So that people have that, like that
So it's
story
like
to
another
tell?
layer to his
You know, like let's imagine you were at that party that Bill Murray showed up at, some house party where he was doing fucking dishes and shit, right? And you were there,
they
and
ran out of cups.
Yeah. And you start like telling people, they're never gonna believe you without a picture or video or something. Do you think that's why he does it?
Because I think he does it because he's Bill Murray. He's always had the agenda of wanting to be so rich that he could never get in trouble. He could always buy his way out. He's actually quoted in saying that.
He's got to be close.
Oh, yeah, he's there.
You know,
he has lawyers waiting around,
right,
just in case.
Hey, Gus, I did that thing again.
I think he was at a charity golf event, and he hit some guy with the golf ball. And the guy's like, oh, and he walked over. He's like, oh, man, you were in the way. What are you doing? And the crowd comes up because they're following Bill Murray. And they all start laughing. The guy's laughing. And then a couple minutes later, somebody shows up with a bunch of Coke and the pop or soda and pizzas. And he starts having a little pizza party right there. It's like, yeah, no one's ever going to be like, fuck you, Bill Murray. It's Bill Murray.
And if they did, we'd have to beat their ass. Right?
They would get their ass beat because there's usually a mob around Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like, well, they went to a show in, I forget what part of Texas, but it was the Wu-Tang Clan, I believe. We're doing a show in this club, and Bill Murray took over the bar. So people would walk up like, oh,
so
can I get
sweet.
this? And he was like, sure. And he was only giving out shots of tequila. Didn't matter what you ordered.
Right.
You got a shot of tequila.
You get either a shot of tequila from Bill Murray or nothing.
Then eventually, after a little while, a couple of the Wu-Tang Clan came back and helped him out. Just doling out shots of tequila to everybody.
Okay, do you imagine that he went up to the club owner and was like,
fuck no. He just walked back there.
So at the end of the night, when Bill Murray's done doing his thing, the club owner comes up and he goes, hey, you gave out like 35 shots of tequila in 15 minutes. I'm just,
for shits and giggles.
So you owe me like $600 or whatever.
And Bill Murray goes, yeah, and walks away.
And he hands him like 10 grand. Here you go.
If that. Or if he goes, you're welcome. You're going to have a bunch of people coming to your show or coming to your fucking place now.
Well, I'm sure he paid for them.
You don't know.
No, I don't.
Didn't have to.
He probably didn't have to, but I bet he did. It's Bill Murray. He just seems like the kind of guy that would do something like that. Like, I'm going to give away 10 grand worth of drinks, but I'll give you 20, That would be, I would do that kind of shit if I was ever that rich. I don't even have to be famous.
No.
People in the club don't need to know who I am. I'll just go in there.
It would help that you were famous.
Well.
Probably.
You can almost be famous from something like that,
For a little while.
Depending on, I guess, where you were when that shit was going down, I don't know that I'd like to be strip club famous. Those people seem to fizzle out real quick.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so.
All right.
We got Florida Man and the beer of the week and the hurricane.
Where do you want to jump to next?
Let's save the serious stuff for the end there. So we'll save the hurricane for the end. Let's go Florida Man. I know you said you got a couple of...
I have two.
Okay, good.
Two interesting stories. And I mean, who doesn't like Florida Man stories?
Let's go.
So, which one to start with first? Fuck it. I'll start with this one. So, a gentleman named Pedro Julio Ruiz was arrested in Florida.
Okay.
He's accused of stealing almost $12,000 in electricity. And that electricity was powering all the lighting and accessories to grow his marijuana.
Oh, no.
So a 63-year-old man, Pedro, was arrested after deputies say he was running a marijuana grow house and stealing electricity to power it. And you're like, okay, not that crazy.
Right.
Right? So, according to the arrest report, Pedro's personal property was found inside an abandoned home during a search, which included medication with his name on it.
Okay.
A misdemeanor probation paperwork scattered about in the living room.
With his name on it.
With all his information on it. From a previous endeavor. And a power bill in his name. Not to that location that he broke into and had this secret grow house, but to his residence. Let me ask you, why would you bring all that shit with you?
So he was stealing electricity from his residence?
It wasn't his residence. So he was at this abandoned house.
Right.
And he pretty much rigged up electricity from outside
Okay.
going into the house
Right.
to power all the lights and everything.
Okay.
So it was under no one's name. He was just blatantly stealing
Squatting.
Squatting.
Right.
Did not live there. Had a different place where he lived. But brought all this shit
Court papers.
over while he was tending to his garden.
Must be in case they ever kick the door in on his residence, he wouldn't have anything to tie him to.
His residence, but
Right.
but his secret grow house. Yeah, we'll keep. I'll put my social security card here. My dental records
My
here.
court date.
Yeah. But all told, Duke Energy is claiming that it is estimated theft of $11,979.73. It does not say how long it was going on for, but you'd have to imagine
6 months to a year at
a
least.
little while. Yeah. Kudos for him for not getting caught right off the bat.
Well,
I mean, them not noticing they're not getting paid for service in this area. Hey, something's happening right around here.
it must not have been a house like with a bunch of other houses dark. You know, like it was the only house on the block lit up. And everybody's like,
Did somebody move in?
What's going on over there? Pedro, what are you doing, bro?
To give you kind of...
I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
Oh, so let's see. They found a power diversion being used around multiple air conditioning units and more than 24 ballasts for the grow lights. That's a pretty big operation he had going.
Does it say how many plants?
24.
Ooh, that's not a bad little op.
No, especially if he was well into it, they had to be pretty hefty.
It was all profit too. He's not paying a bill.
Exactly. Now he's kind of fucked.
Right.
Even more so on top of that misdemeanor private work he had there.
Unfortunately, we cannot say only in Florida for that story, because I'm sure that happens
Quite often.
all
I'll
over
assume,
the
yeah.
place. It just so happens this story about Pedro was in Florida.
Then I got another one, but this one's from July 2018.
Okay.
Pretty sure we never talked about it on the show before.
All right.
And it's interesting because how would we have missed this? So there's this guy out of Florida. He was 71 years old. What's his name? Alan Abrahamson. It's a special name for a special guy. I would like to preface this with, we do not condone suicide
No.
at all.
No. Not
But,
a laughing matter.
No. This man passed away to a gunshot wound.
Self-inflicted.
Well, at the time when the police arrived and found
Nobody
the
knew
body,
that.
Nobody knew that.
Right. Okay.
Because there was no murder weapon. So just found a guy who was shot. So they start looking into it. So it was a puzzling investigation into Mr. Abrahamson's death that started 6 months ago as a homicide in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, with a city about 5,000 residents.
Man, that's tiny.
That is pretty small. They say the man didn't have any known enemies, and he and his wife were soulmates. And he was, quote, somebody everybody would gravitate to. He was an avid golfer, loved to travel, just had a zest for life. Oh, an ad popped up. That's wonderful. So he was supposed to meet a friend at a Starbucks one morning, and he never showed up. When they found his body, there was a clear gunshot wound, ruling as the cause of death, but there was no weapon.
Sounds like homicide.
Absolutely. Clearly. I mean, how are you going to...
Yeah. If you're a detective, that's the first thing you're going to look at, right?
So, after a week of investigating, police had no idea what happened.
There was probably no footprints leading away from the crime scene.
They interviewed a bunch of people, his wife, his kids, couldn't find a thing. And they was like, okay. And then one day, in his email box, police saw a message about an order he had placed less than a month before he died for a $55 weather balloon.
Okay.
Okay. Those are usually pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like kind of silver in color, too, aren't they?
Sometimes white or...
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people usually get them and put a GoPro on them and then send them up.
Now we have drones.
Well, I don't think drones can go up that high.
Well, probably not that high, no.
But depending on how big the weather balloon is. According to surveillance videos, Abrahamson walked past a gatehouse 37 minutes before the gunshot was heard, but he hadn't left the country club. Okay, so apparently he was at a country club. So police followed the same route based off the surveillance and they found that it only took them 4 minutes to walk it, when it took him 30 or so. Something's afoot.
Right.
Still, with nowhere to lead, no real solid ideas, they started going back through his computer, seeing if there's other messages or anything that they missed. And they found a trove of searches trailing for at least 10 years. Searches that included suicide, how to commit suicide, life insurance suicide, and a bunch of other interesting things.
Okay. If I'm a detective, now I'm starting to switch my investigation in the direction of suicide. Absolutely. 10 years?
10 years of searches.
Wow, man. That's a shame he couldn't get some kind of help in 10 years. You know? He couldn't find somebody to connect to on a positive level.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, man. Not to go all Debbie Downer, but if anybody listening has had multiple years of that kind of thought process, like, reach out a little further. Come on. There's somebody out there that'll help, I promise.
So with all the information that they gathered, they processed this, a theory from one of the officers. How would it work? If Abrahamson had tied a gun to a weather balloon, it would have disappeared into the sky once he shot himself, a detective wrote in the report. Although the theory seemed far-fetched, it was plausible. So the research continued until detectives stumbled upon a similar incident in 2003 CSI Las Vegas episode. A character had tied a gun to a helium-filled balloons to stage a homicide. But after making some calls, no one said that they've seen a weather balloon in or around that time period. So they went back to Mr. Abrahamson's Google history, and they found another trove of interesting stuff, like undetectable suicide methods. How many cubic feet of helium do you need to raise 1 pound? He then looked for nearby helium suppliers. In his last search on January 24, dawn dusk times.
So this guy tied his gun to a weather balloon, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right? This is the theory
This is solid
that they
theory.
went on. Tied his gun to a weather balloon,
Mm-hmm.
shot himself,
Mm-hmm.
and let the gun go.
Yep, because once he shot himself, he's falling back,
Right.
letting go of the gun.
The gun floats away.
The balloon filled with more than enough helium, as he researched,
Right.
to lift the said weapon.
So
And poof, it's gone. And if he does it at a specific time, when it's kind of not easy to see,
right.
that balloon go away.
And he was at a country club
apparently.
when he did it?
Yeah.
So like maybe like a golf course country
Yeah.
club? Okay,
like in
so
houses that surround,
but if you went outside at a golf course,
there wouldn't be a lot of witnesses.
there's not a lot of witnesses. There's not a lot of overhead obstruction if you're
Correct.
out, Yep. where there's no trees. And give the gun a definite chance to get away.
Oh, yeah, no power lines, no.
If it was the middle of the night, too, there wouldn't be a lot of planes.
True.
So they wouldn't see anything like
Mhm.
that. So I'm pretty sure weather balloons all have lights on them, right? Wouldn't you think they come standard?
Yeah, they come with like a
some
flashing
kind of-
light. I
some kind of
believe.
blinking light.
But you
right.
can take that out, I would assume.
If he was thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
My question about all this is they didn't say if they found or retrieved the weapon. And I don't know how long those helium balloons last for, the weather ones.
yeah,
They're pretty big. But
let's say 2 days, right?
they go up extremely high.
They go up high. The winds are going to blow them around.
So it could land pretty much anywhere. In the water, in a forest.
And you have to imagine, too, like the person that finds the gun.
Mm-hmm. It's
you got-
tied to a...
You have a 50-50 chance they're not going to call anybody. They're just going to keep it.
I found a
I
gun.
got a gun,
Yeah.
right? I'd call, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
but
I would call, too. I'm walking through the woods or somewhere, and you find a gun that's tied to a fucking
it could be on
deflated
your fucking
balloon.
roof.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
It's in your gutter.
Your kid walks up like, hey, Dad, what's this? Be like, put that down.
Yeah. Where'd you get that? Now, then I would definitely call, yeah, if it was something like that. If you're walking through the woods,
Yeah.
if it's tied to a balloon.
I think if you find it anywhere, it's pretty fucking sketchy.
Right, but if it wasn't tied to a weather balloon, if it was just laying
randomly
in the
laying
fucking
there,
woods, right?
that's a
There's
different
a
story.
rifle. You're like, well, it could have been a hunter, fell asleep, left it, whatever the case may be.
You find shit out in the woods.
Absolutely.
Knives, flashlights.
Out in a field. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it could have been somebody fucking plowing a field.
fell out of their pocket.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
That's crazy. That's crazy shit.
I mean, 71 years old. If you're at a point where you're like, yeah, I'm done. Or if you have an illness or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
and you want to go out with a little pizzazz and still get your family some insurance money, wipe that history.
What? Okay, so what happens if the family gets paid out because he was killed, right? And then the investigation leads to
And deem it as a suicide.
And
it's not covered under that policy.
Right. Are they, the family, then forced to give the money back?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I would assume the insurance company would want their money back. They don't like giving out money.
No. I wonder if, let's say you were in the family, right?
Okay.
And the insurance company was like, okay, things have changed. We want our money back. This is how much we gave you. We want every penny. And you took them to court, right? Maybe the judge sides in your favor because you're the one that lost a person.
It depends on the wording on the contract. At the time, if it was suspected as a murder and it was paid out as a murder, I don't know. It depends on the stipulations set forth.
That's crazy. That was in Florida, too, so you have to assume that weather balloon floated up over the water.
Good chance that it's in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
I mean, you know.
Depending on the airflow.
It probably landed in the water.
Solid chance.
That's a safe assumption. So they're never going to find it. Unless
Probably
it was floating and somebody picked it up like, oh, even better twist. You're in a boat fishing for fucking, some kind of shark or something on a charter. And they're like, what is this silver thing floating in the water? Holy shit, there's a gun.
Well, it depends on how much helium is left in that balloon. It would probably pull down that balloon after a while.
That's true.
Now, if they found it in a net when they were fishing.
The guns are heavy, but if it's just like a standard hunting rifle, it might not be heavy enough to pull down. Like if it's a big weather balloon and it's floating in the ocean, flattened.
It depends.
Yeah. Boy, that'd be wild.
Wouldn't it? And you got to think after a while, depending on what type of stock it had. If it was wood, it would rot out, fall apart, and all the metal would... I mean, there's a lot to this.
Right. One big wave could crash it under, and then it might not come back up. Yeah.
But to plan it out over 10 years, or to research it at least.
Yeah. Man, oh man. That's a troubling... that's a troubling number right there. 10 years.
Yeah. Granted, the man was 71 when he went, but in his 60s, started thinking about this. Shit.
Yeah. How bad was his what? No, I'm just kidding. Again, we're trying to find humor in something that we probably don't need to be joking about. But this guy did. He obviously had to know that your story's going to get out if you're going to do some shit like that, right?
Clearly, if caught and found out, yes.
Even if you're 70 years old and it's 2018, you have to understand that people are going to find out.
It's easier now.
Well, maybe he wasn't in his right mind. I don't know. I don't want to speculate about somebody's mental state, so we won't do that. But because you just cracked beer,
I did.
Let's go ahead and shift into the beer of the week right quick. So for the beer of the week, I was at the store earlier, and I'm looking through the different breweries, and I'll admit it wasn't one of the better stores that we go to for our craft beer selection, but Sagatuck Brewing. It's been a minute since we had anything from them.
This is true.
And I know they produced Bonfire Brown, one of your favorites.
I love that.
So I thought, let's give it a shot.
I do enjoy the name of this one.
Yeah?
Rad Venture IPA from Sagatuck. Now, this one's a 7%er.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not overpowering.
No.
No. But you can tell there's a little bit more to it than
a little bite.
Yeah. So let's see. An American IPA. Go off the beaten path with this beautifully gold effervescent IPA. Hop flavor and aroma derived from Galaxy, Simcoe, Amarillo, and Michigan experimental hops, leading to a unique fruity flavor such as strawberry, melon, and grapefruit. Michigan experimental hops.
That's a little, I don't know about
that. Sounds
how I feel about
interesting.
That. I'd like to know what the hops were that they put together to experiment this, but it don't taste too bad for an IPA.
No, it's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely get that first punch.
Oh yeah,
of hop. Then it kind of gets into the little fruity realm. I can't really place strawberries.
No, I just taste grapefruit.
I can say melon maybe, but grapefruit for sure. And then there's kind of like carbonated fizz at the end a little bit. at least for me.
I don't know what I could see myself doing while drinking this beer.
I don't know.
It's tough with the IPAs, right?
It
Because
really is, because I think they're like an everyday summer kind of.
yeah, it's just like I could be doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm almost to the point now where I think any IPA that I'm going to drink, I almost want it on draft.
It would probably be way better on draft.
Yeah, I'm done with cans and bottle IPA. You know, like I want something
new experience,
a little
with
different.
it.
Yeah, I want to draft or even a growler.
A
where
growler would be
pour
probably good.
Pour in a cup or a glass or something to drink it. But this one isn't bad.
No, not at all.
I do like the every journey begins with a sip.
Ooh, that's
pretty
classy.
cool. And here's to happy. The logo, or the label, I should say.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad.
It's cool.
It's well put together.
Right.
Simple.
It goes with the whole, I guess, what are they trying to give off the theme of, like, hiking?
Yeah.
Right? You're out in the sun, going up the hill or something. You stop, have a nice IPA to cool yourself off, maybe.
I could see that pretty easy.
Summertime beer, you know.
Camping, just out and about, having a rad venture. While you're on an adventure.
All in all, I'd probably give it a 2.25.
I went 2.75.
Okay. Nothing jumps out.
No, it's nothing like wow.
Yeah.
Or, oh God, it's
Like, I'm
it's
still
pleasing. I would say.
Yeah, it's not bad. I would say when it comes to IPAs, like El Dancarino was.
Oh man, I like that.
I mean, that was the IPA that we kind of hold up.
Yeah, I would
above
say that's
rest,
the benchmark. Yeah.
right? Even going by some of the stuff we've had, I almost bought another Oktoberfest.
I thought about it. I don't know. I still think it's a little early.
It is, yeah. But they're coming out, and because they're seasonal, I don't know how many times
It's
you're
going to be around.
walk
Yeah.
in the party store and find it, you know.
True.
Even if we buy it now and sit on it for a week.
Would you say it's shelf worthy?
No. No, I definitely wouldn't put it up there with the competition that's up there right now.
I would agree.
There was one bottle that I saw that I really liked.
Yeah.
It was Sagatuck, and it said, what was the name of it? Hop You in the Rye or something. But it had like this crazy looking, it's like a religious figure that has the 8 arms that comes off of it.
I'm gonna say it wrong. Gishnu?
Like a meditation pose
yeah.
or something, right? It had that character basically, and it was a pretty cool label. And I almost bought it just based on the label, but it was in bottles, and I worry,
You
how
worry?
old is the beer when it's in a bottle?
That is true.
Because bottles a wintertime thing. A lot of these companies come up with the bottles in the wintertime, the fall and the winter, and the cans are in the summer. So, I've definitely noticed that I have my go-to breweries that I go like when I go walk into
This
the
is true.
store.
If you see something from them, you're like, oh yeah.
Well, I'll find those first and see if they have anything new.
Okay.
Like Arbor Brewing. We've pretty much tried everything, excuse me, except the cucumber beer.
That is true.
Which I'm willing to try, but we had
man.
Arbor last weekend, so
Yeah.
or no, 2 weeks ago. His last week was Revolution.
And the last one we had from them was their Oktoberfest,
Mm-hmm.
which still I want a soft pretzel. That has not gone away.
I still have some in the freezer.
I actually went to the store last night and I could not find them.
No?
Really? I was upset by this.
Yeah, well, I would be too.
There was only a few specific things I was going to get. And as I walked in, I placed that on top of the list. I was like, well, while I'm here, I might as well look.
Yeah.
If they have them, bam.
No pretzels, though.
No
huh?
pretzels. I
No.
did 3 trips around looking.
In the frozen section?
Yep.
Wow.
They were also restocking that evening, so I don't know if it was...
Okay. There might have been like a 2-for special on pretzels that day, and they sold out of them right before you got there.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
If that was the coincidence.
So, let's see. Before we go, we need to bring it into serious for a minute, and we talk about this hurricane because it's, today's news. It's the last 7-8 days news.
Yeah.
The next 7-8 days news. This damn thing is predicted to go on until like next week, dude.
That's crazy.
Just terrorizing the coast of the United States. There's a couple things I'd like to talk about if we can real quick. Number one, obviously, the Bahamas are going to need some help.
Yeah.
Those people are going to need donations, clothes, water. They're going to need some help, man. I don't know if you've seen video, the overhead like helicopter footage of the Bahamas.
I have not.
Holy shit. So you know that that trash island that floats in the middle of the ocean?
With the plastic and all that?
All that shit.
Yeah.
It's like the size of Texas. Excuse me. The size of Texas, right? It's floating out in the middle of the ocean. For whatever reason, all the currents bring all the trash in the ocean to this fucking pile, and it all just floats together. Allegedly. I've never seen it in person. The overhead footage of the Bahamas looks like that.
Oh, wow.
It looks like the whole island is just a bunch of debris floating. You wouldn't know that it was an island because the water is, covering everything, dude. Some of the footage I saw, some of the videos I've seen shared via social media and different things, it looks like the ultimate nightmare. Now, I can say that anytime there's a major hurricane and when there's major flooding and damage to whatever part of the world it happens in, we see it all the fucking time. We're almost used to it, right?
Sadly.
There's a few things that will fall into that category, and this is one of them. Tornadoes, hurricanes, different things. I don't know if it's because I don't live in a place like that or because I've never experienced a storm that severe, but I wonder why people still live there.
Well, you got to think say with the hurricanes and tornadoes. It's only a specific time of year that goes down.
Dude, 355 days out of the year, it's one of the most gorgeous places on Earth.
Yeah.
Right? Minus the tropical storm here and there. But these 10 days.
Or the span, say the month.
No, it's September 1st through September 10th is peak hurricane season. That is the ultimate apex of probability, right?
Right.
That 10 days alone would make me do everything in my power to leave that location of the planet. Right?
I will kind of counter with this. From my knowledge of the Bahamas, only a portion of it is like the high class, nice resorts, this and that, cruise people, the people that fly in to stay at like Atlantis and all those places.
Right. Sandals. I'm sure there's a Sandals there.
Something of that nature. But the other 98% of those island chains are just like third world country.
Poverty stricken. Right.
So they don't really have the capability of going looks like we're going to Utah for the month.
No, but, I mean, as long as we've known, people find their way here.
True.
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere else. I just don't understand. It sounds so insensitive to say because I know not everybody can just up and move. I'm not saying that. But that would be my motivation to get the fuck away from that spot on the planet.
You would think that you would have ambition to.
If I grew up in fucking Siberia and every 3 weeks there was an avalanche of snow, I would do my best to leave that location of the planet. Because I wouldn't want to die via avalanche.
No, that'd be horrible.
And it'd be like drowning, right? Same thing, right? So if you knew, same reason I wouldn't want to live in Florida or anywhere along the coast of either side of our country or any country, because there's always that chance the water will come. It's coming, right?
Yeah.
Again, that being said, what happened was terrible. There's no words to describe what those people must have gone through, dude. That hurricane sat over that island in the Bahamas for 36 hours. It was moving so slow that those people had like 110 mile an hour winds for days. That's got to be like hell on earth, right?
I mean, for 10 minutes, that's got to be frightening as fuck.
Oh, dude.
To go on that far, that's eerie.
Now, here's the other thing that I would like to at least bring up while we're talking about it.
Okay.
Why is it that hurricanes and tornadoes happen here more than they happen in other places in the world? Now, we don't get tsunamis like a lot of Asian countries have had or other places in the world, but we literally have a hurricane season every year.
True.
And we have tornado season every year.
True.
And we have all the different seasons they're so fucked up now, for
Yeah.
whether it's timing or whatever the case may be. Why don't you hear about hurricanes off the coast of Australia? Do they get them down there?
I would assume so. Probably not as frequent. I mean, it has a lot to do with our topography as the country as a whole.
Okay.
Like, say, for tornadoes, like when it comes off the Rockies, it's just barreling down through and all the other...
Yeah, but there's mountains everywhere.
True.
Is it just that we don't hear about it, you think, maybe?
Well, I do believe we're one of the only countries that call them tornadoes.
Oh.
So they have different names.
Oh, okay, so that could be why.
I'd have to look it up. I forget what other countries call them.
Like, okay, I guess my point would be, like, you never hear a story out of France where they had an F5 tornado rip through the countryside and kill X amount of people and destroy, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't hear that.
True.
Out of other countries. Or maybe it's just me. I don't hear that. But you would think that would be international news, right? Like CNN or Fox News would report on an F5 tornado that ripped through Paris, France, knocked the Eiffel Tower down. Like that kind of shit just don't happen in other places in the world like it happens here, as frequently at least as it happens here.
True.
And I wonder why that is.
It just might be the reporting. If we're looking up the tornadoes, they occur in many parts of the world with the exception of Antarctica. They've been known to strike Australia, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, even New Zealand. Let's see. New Zealand reports about 20 tornadoes on average per year.
Dude, we get that in a week in Kansas.
Yeah, that's true. We get them more frequent.
That was my point. Yeah, the frequency of what we get as opposed to other places.
It says globally, the middle latitudes between 30 degrees and 50 degrees north or south provide the most favorable environment for tornado genesis.
So this is a geography thing, strictly.
Like we're in the
geography.
sweet spot, apparently.
Just the northern western hemisphere, right? That's what we're considered. Are we western hemisphere?
It's a solid question. I do not recall my seventh grade geography.
Yeah, because
I would assume so. Yes.
Yeah, because the eastern hemisphere would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, all right. So say New Zealand records at around average 20 a year.
Right.
We record as a United States around 1,000 on average a year.
That's insane,
isn't it?
Is there other? Do you have a list, or was it you were just looking up us and them? Because I was wondering, who would be number 2?
Ooh.
Who would be number 3? Like, how? What's the drop off? We have 1,000 a year. Is number 2 like, 100?
Let's see.
And that's just tornadoes, which equally scare the shit out of me. Right? I would never move out to the fucking plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, all them, Missouri, them areas that get tornadoes. Oh my goodness, no way.
I would say Canada would be number 2, just by proxy. Then possibly Mexico.
So it is literally a geography thing.
Yeah.
If you're talking Canada, U.S., and Mexico are all the top 3 spots for tornadoes, holy cow.
Let's see if I can find something outside of this realm. So I would say Europe. Most of Europe is around second place.
No, okay.
Because it's pretty much just, if you follow that line, it goes there. Australia would probably be about third.
Okay.
But it gradually drops.
Right.
But yeah, we're like this sweet spot just because of the conditions, the moisture, topography, our climate, everything. Just boiled down. It's like, there you go.
That's definitely the scientific way of looking at it.
If you want to go
there
that
are
route.
other people that take different routes to explain that kind of
This is true.
Frequency. I don't know, man. It's just it's so scary to me. Some of the videos I watched, I was telling you before we started recording, I saw this video of a family. They were on the second level of the inside of their house, and the waves of water were crashing up against the window.
That's scary.
I mean, that's 9. What's a story? Is it 8 feet or 10? I think it's 10.
It's a little over 10.
So let's just say 10.
Yeah.
So you have a 10-story. You're on the second story, and the window is, 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Dude, the waves are crashing against that window. That right there, I would probably go into panic mode.
How could you not?
Well,
I mean,
if you're used to tropical storms and or hurricanes in your area,
it might not be as a big deal
right.
as
I mean,
it
it's
normally
still
is. You're like, oh, this shit
tragic
again.
because the first story of your house is underwater right now, but you're alive. You survived thus far.
That's
right?
the key point.
As
You
soon
can
as-
get more shit.
Dude,
more tchotchkes, more fucking Funko
when the
Pops.
fucking drain backs up in the house and there's a quarter of an inch of water on the ground, I go into panic mode.
Oh, yeah, because it breaks the norm.
Fuck yeah, dude. I couldn't imagine if, like, let's just say because of where we are, let's say the Detroit River swelled 2 feet, right?
Okay.
I mean, you're going to bury half a Wyandotte underwater. Not
This
a
is
lot
true.
of water, but,
Yeah.
it's going to be... It's going to be some water.
If there's a significant power outage,
And the pumps don't work.
Detroit's, their water lines are from the 1900s, early 1900s. They'll explode.
That's rough.
And every, doomsday, what would happen if, 30 days out, Detroit would be underwater, hands down, because all the water mains would break.
Especially all the freeways that run through Detroit. They're so low.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
And the roads are shit as is. So imagine all the water mains throughout Detroit. Boom. And they've stated at minimum the majority of Detroit would be under 2 feet of water.
Dude, that's crazy.
And that would affect us greatly.
Oh, hell yeah.
Being so close in proximity. And then you got to think, what's the long term of that? All right, that just changed the ecosystem. That just changed the watershed. That changed a lot of what goes on.
Yeah. I know, I'm going to say at least since I was in high school, there was always the running joke, theory, conspiracy, whatever, that one day in the future, things like California breaking off into the ocean,
From an
Florida
earthquake.
sinking,
Yeah.
right?
Water levels rising overall to engulf.
Things like that have been talked about or joked about for a long fucking time. Dude, these hurricanes are coming dangerously close to making that happen with Florida. And we're one major earthquake away from
Who knows?
a lot of things going bad out in California.
Not only that, now that they finally classified that fucking super volcano out over by Yellowstone National Park.
Right under
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
That would fuck up a majority of the northwest United States.
Yeah.
And the damaging effects it would have on also Canada and throughout fucking North America.
All the way down the middle of the
Yeah.
fucking country would be just devastated.
Now, if timing were, a thing like it is with comedy, let's say it's tornado season. Right in the beginning, that supervolcano fucking pops off. Fucking the country.
Just sends chunks of earth flying into tornadoes.
Causing all the faults in, say, the west side of the country, like California, Oregon, Washington, just a fucking chain reaction and go off.
It's basically under the Rockies, right? Kind of breaks
Pretty
off from
much,
the Rockies down.
Causing those fucking plates just to fucking rattle and shift and chain reaction of worst case scenario. How fucked overall do you think it would become?
Oh, man. Quickly.
Extremely
I mean,
quickly.
panic across the country would spread overnight.
It would be global news.
Yeah, it would be a matter of hours, and you'd have people in sheer panic. I mean, look what happens with a hurricane barreling in at 8 miles an hour.
Exactly. Oh,
People went nuts, and
have to.
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Generators, water, all that shit.
Now, to take this from a very serious note to a hashtag trademark, what if this was the lead-in for the reboot of Red Dawn? So with America crippled by all these catastrophes.
Right.
No Sharknadoes, thankfully, but just, supervolcano, massive earthquakes throughout, tornadoes.
All the hits.
Boom. And then the United States is invaded at our weakest. Like all of our resources are spread thin, trying to fucking get everything level. And insert country here goes, fuck you, America.
Right. We're coming in locked and loaded. Boy, that would be fun. Not fun. That was the wrong word.
That was
That would be
extremely
interesting.
the wrong word.
Yeah. Sorry.
That would be a hoot. Thank you, Douglas.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Well, on that note, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, I
we
don't
had
think
to-
there's a way to redeem yourself after that one,
I
so
know,
that's
I
probably
know.
a good spot to...
We had to bring up the hurricane because it's just on top of the news right now, obviously, and rightfully so. I mean, the people dude, listen, North Carolina and up the coast from there.
Everyone
if you're
on the
listening to
East
this,
Coast, you're going to get hit with this.
Jersey, get fucking ready, man. You people are going to get some winds. You're
Nova
gonna get
Scotia,
some
button up,
surge.
eh?
It's going to go all the way up to Greenland, is from what they're predicting. Before
52nd state. Sorry.
Hopefully Trump Tower's farther enough inland.
Well, I don't think they broke ground yet.
Not yet. If the hurricane hits Greenland, they might be like calling up, "Hey, you guys still want to buy or what?"
I'm just saying.
But just we had to talk about it. I don't know.
No, I understand it. I don't know if it's, quote, fun, but
Sometimes I say words and I don't mean to.
Did you mean for all those words to come out together, or did they just fall out randomly?
spot on, sir.
Once again,
I'm sorry.
I can't help it. Sometimes it happens.
Oh.
But for episode 99, we want to thank all you listeners for checking back in once again. Stay tuned next week.
The mystery of 100.
I think we might have come up with a really good idea
I think
before
it's
we
pretty
hit
solid.
record tonight. We'll have to see if that can play itself out. That could be cool.
You'll find out if you check back in with us, folks.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
Or will we?
Thanks to Sagatuck Brewing for Rad Venture IPA. It's pretty tasty beer. Nice little 7%er.
Yeah, it's a solid hit.
Yep. Didn't quite make the shelf, but that's okay.
There's always next time.
Your beer was good enough. The label didn't have to be that jazzy.
They were more concerned about the contents in the can, and I respect that.
And, cheers to goofy-ass Tom Cruise for having more money in box office than John Travolta. You got me.
But watch out. There's still time.
You got to catch Sam Jackson.
No one's catching Sam Jackson. I'm sorry.
All right, until episode 100, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Motherfucker.